And now, thank you. Now we are going to move into our hero's journey with our Threshold Guardians. Very excited to welcome up to the stage three people from the recently formed Future Film Coalition. And we have with us in the building, if you guys can start to come down to the stage, Jax DeLuca. We have Brian Newman. Yeah. Barbara Twist. And we are having them moderated by Richard Rushfield from The Ankler, who I follow religiously. You should follow his articles, his podcast. I watch all of them, Richard, every single one. And I want to talk to you because I believe I'm your foil, truly. I am the most positive, irritatingly Pollyanna person ever.
That doesn't work.
I know. So I think he and I are like matter and antimatter. Wait till you see us get together. I'll let you take it away.
Good morning. How you doing? Is this on? Perfect. Thank you all for being here. This is very exciting. So Jared, in the last in his discussion, was talking about the world building in Star Wars and how they constructed this idea of this empire that the world was clearly against it, and it was just film used to do that, create these evil empires, and indie film certainly does that. But it's not often that within the indie world that people actually get in the TIE fighter and take on the empire. And we have three people up here with the Future Film Coalition who are doing just that with an initiative they've launched this week called Block the Merger. And I am thrilled to introduce Jax DeLuca, Barbara Twist, and Brian Newman of the Future Film Coalition. And I want to just ask you all to start, how did you get into this, and how did you come to get into this, and what made you decide that to go on this crazy fight against the empire here? Jax, you want to? Brian?
I'll start us off. I'll start us off. I'm Brian Newman. I don't know if this is working. Okay. So just real quickly, the Future Film Coalition, a group of us came together about a year ago because many moons ago there was an organization called the Association for Independent Video and Filmmakers, AIVF. I don't know if anyone in the audience remembers it. Clap real quick if you do.
Yes.
A few people. They published a magazine called The Independent that a lot of journalists get their start at. And it was a policy-related group as well, an advocacy group advocating on behalf of independent filmmakers. And it went out of business in the early 2000s for various reasons. But among them was a lot of people thought, oh, we don't need an advocacy group anymore. There's all these great new opportunities for filmmakers, including this thing called Netflix, that is going to solve all the problems of the independent film world. And I literally went to panels where people sat there and cheered because Netflix was sending DVDs of all their independent films to everyone. And not to pick on Netflix, but that's what people thought at that time. And over the years, we've lost that idea of advocacy. And so a group of us included, and I won't name everyone's names. If you go to futurefilmcoalition.org, you can get all our names. But we said we need to start an advocacy group that works on issues that matter to independent filmmakers, and the independent filmmakers can have a voice. And we formed a board of directors, and we've been slowly coming together. And one of the first things we had to work on was the battle around public media. And obviously, this merger coming up is the next big thing, and I'll turn it over to my colleagues here in just a second. But the idea is the Future Film Coalition is where you can join as a filmmaker to have your voice heard on these kinds of issues, not just what we're going to talk about today with Block the Merger, but anything affecting independent filmmakers. And we have different working groups that represent different aspects of the industry so that everyone is represented in the coalition. And one of the first things we did was we said we need someone to lead us, and we need someone who's super smart and smarter than all the rest of us to do that. And of course, because our government has been changing things around a lot, there was a person who had been at the NEA who was available potentially, Jax DeLuca, and we asked her to lead us in the TIE fighter to the future.
Their loss, our gain.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I feel so lucky that I've been able to land at Future Film Coalition because it merges all of the things I've been so passionate about, and one of those is supporting the independent film ecosystem and all of the types of organizations in there. And I was there for almost 9 years, and we really could not have, maybe we could have foreseen, but we had gone through already one round of this administration, so how different could last year have been? But my gosh, I'm just also realizing that was about a year ago that all of this started happening. So I'm so in awe and grateful and just so excited to be able to be part of this organization, because the work that you've all done to lay the groundwork last year couldn't have come with better timing. And so, Barbara, do you want to talk a little bit about how you got involved?
Up until recently, I was the executive director of Film Festival Alliance, and many moons before that, I was the managing director of Art House Convergence. And so my work has always been in exhibition, understanding that when we work together as a community, we're stronger, seeing how movie theaters and film festivals are really the roots of this ecosystem, and are the, kind of like the real connection to the audience and such an integral part to all of this. And so through that work, I've seen where when we come together, we can make real change, whether that's drawing more attention and resources to the exhibition sector, teaming up to tackle things like different aspects of accessibility. Certainly last year, when the NEA, we had a sense that the NEA might start to pull funding back, and they did do clawback funding. FFA was able to work together with Art House Convergence, with Americans for the Arts, and get that information out to our members very quickly. And so a lot of them were able to get money out before the federal government clawed it back. And so that type of work on kind of a micro level really reinforced for me the power of working together. And sort of over time, I've also worked as a filmmaker, just seeing how our sector, the independent film sector, we rarely have a voice at the table. We're always an afterthought. We are always working with limited resources. And I started thinking, why are we constantly fighting each other? And if we look upstream, we can see this giant boulder, which is simply just blocking resources. The resources exist. They are out there. There's more wealth on Earth today than there ever has been. But it's just a matter of pulling it to our sector. And so starting to talk with other people about how might we expand beyond and really come together. So Future Film Coalition is not just filmmakers, it's exhibitors, it's marketing and publicity people, it's critics, it's artist support organizations, distributors, kind of really bringing everyone together and understanding that if any one of those areas is not functioning functioning well, it impacts the entire system, right? It really is like an ecosystem. You learn about ecological ecosystems in elementary school, and it is if the frog goes away, it's hugely impactful.
Well, this is one of the things, for our tagline for Future Film Coalition. It is independent voices, collective power, and kind of reviving the elements of what AIVF had. I know this from being inside the government, this part of the film sector has not had someone working to shape the language, the shared language for this entire field. People in the entertainment industry, they have lobbyists. We don't have one lobbyist that represents the independent film sector, the industry. So that really is what we are aspiring to do. And we have over 200 members. We have some amazing branch organizers, and we're kind of soft launching right now to figure out how do we run a coalition that can do collective decision making together, and how do we make sure that we're representing this organization and this sector in a way that can help secure policy protections for this field. And so that does relate to blockthemerger.com. You'll see on some of the tables. We've just launched this campaign as of today. And so, yes. So
Thank you, Christy.
Yes, they're over there. We'll also be at the Solidarity House, and we'll be on a few other panels. But the whole point of this is, and the Ankler's written a lot about this, media consolidation is not abstract. It determines who gets seen, who gets paid, who decides what stories reach the public. So our goal is to help protect indie film by collecting stories. And the thing about this is we've talked to people who have worked in the antitrust review and the regulatory side, and we know what type of stories they need. And we've been working with Free Press and the American Economic Liberties Project.
Not Barry Weiss's Free Press,
Yes.
just to be clear.
The other, oh my gosh, thank you
I
for
mean, we
that
are bipartisan.
distinction.
We are looking to merge across the aisle, but, you know.
Just
not
one
that
collective gasp when I'm like, and thank you. Just, you know, the name Free Press, it's a great name, but not that one. Right, not Barry Weiss. We're talking Craig Aaron. We have a representative from Free Press here. But they did a teach-in with us and the Independent Documentary Association and Art House Convergence. And we did a teach-in. That was the first step. And then from there, over the holiday break, I was working with Marjan Safinia and Kirby Dick and a few other people, and also Art House Convergence. And we've just been having this working group just kind of expanded, and Marjan got blockthemerger.com. And so then it was like, all right, we're launching this campaign at Sundance. And the thing is, your stories are evidence. How many of you feel like you're part of the film and media supply chain? Yes. Okay, great. You need to be submitting stories if you feel like you've had fewer buyers for your work, or fewer distribution opportunities, or even having downward pressure on your production budgets, or loss of creative ownership through IP. And these are all things we just need to be collecting evidence. Now, we're not against Netflix, we're not against Paramount, but we're against mergers in general because we know that it's had harm for this field and for audiences. So we know also that it's been very hard for people to present these stories in a way that can be effective, and that's really our role right now by launching this campaign, is collecting this so that way we can work with antitrust regulators, and so they can come to us so that way we can mitigate future harms from future consolidation.
Yeah. And one note on the testimonials, because you might be thinking like, is this gonna work? The answer is yes, it can and it has.
Yes.
Albertsons, Kroger and Albertsons, that merger was supposed to go through.
Grocery store mergers.
Two major grocery store chains that have rolled up many other grocery store chains. That's a hard one to say, grocery store. Anyway, the folks that worked on that, and we've been discussing with some of those policymakers and legal advisors, they were able to collect testimonials from shops, from regular people who buy groceries, to sort of understand how the price gouging, how the consolidation, the lack of access to produce, the again downward pressure on the farmers, the food suppliers. And through those testimonials, they were able to demonstrate in the ways that they needed to, sort of the legal argument for why this consolidation shouldn't move forward. They were able to block it. The same with Simon & Schuster, and which now Penguin Random House and Simon & Schuster are having some of their biggest years yet. And surprise,
Look
surprise.
up monopsony if you want a new fun
They
word
are,
to obsess about.
yeah. Those companies are now supporting new imprints with independent voices. They're putting more money into marketing. So when we talk about the Netflix Warner Brothers merger, this is something you've brought up a lot, Richard, which is this assumption that it has to happen. Warner Brothers Discovery does not need to be sold. It is profitable. It is the choice of 3 to 5 men who want to make money and sell the company. They should just leave. If they don't want to run the company anymore, they could just leave. But instead, they're trying to merge and create many problems for all of us. And
nobody benefits from this merger except a handful of investors, if even them in the long run. If you read the media narratives these days, the assumption is just, well, this has to happen. They decided they want to sell, so they have to go to one or the other, and that's it. And who asked you anyway? In dealing with I think one of the struggles the indie sector has had is it gets very comfortable in its niche, and it gets very comfortable in its corner. So artistically, sort of speaking to its own audience and speaking to the converted is a constant problem as it looks to reach a larger audience. And it also has a problem engaging in larger industry issues. There's kind of a render under Caesar mentality of that. How do we drag the indie sector out of that niche and get them to engage in these issues?
I feel like there are people who are engaged, and the thing is, the independent film industry is so entwined with the entertainment industry, and people who work in it go back and forth, and both are critical. So that's why the mission of Future Film Coalition really is about bringing in the policy protections for the independent sector, so that way it can thrive alongside the entertainment industry. Because if these other entities really cared about independent film, and they do, because they're film lovers, and people who are film lovers know how much the broader industry has been impacted and influenced by people who are part of the independent film industry. So it's really critical, and it's so interesting to me that for this multi-billion-dollar industry that there have not been protections around this field and all of us getting together and speaking as one. And I know that we're always kind of, there's these different subsectors, but we're all part of that ecosystem and can be part of this movement. And so that does mean getting involved and providing your input and your stories, and we'll do the work and doing the organizing. But we really need people like you to help inform this work so we know what you all want out of it as well.
I think also if filmmakers want to tell their story and they want to make their films, and so we get wrapped into getting our films done and getting them out there. And what you realize when you talk to legislators, et cetera, is they don't understand what is the potential impact on independence, and the fact that as more mergers have happened and more consolidations happened over the years, there's been the reason we're having all these articles in the press about the fact that there's less sales at Sundance and there's less of a marketplace for films. Part of that is because of this consolidation. So some of the stories we need to tell are stories of how we've been impacted by this, and that's what Jax has helped put together with this, with Marjan and others, is a way for us to tell our stories. There's also, I think, a bit of a self-censorship, because all of us, we want to sell our films to Netflix or Warner Brothers Discovery or one of those places here at Sundance and get them seen by others, and so people don't want to speak out about that. And hopefully the Future Film Coalition, by doing things like this, can help tell those stories to a broader audience and get people to understand what's at stake, because otherwise they just think, oh, I might lose an extra channel. They don't think about all the facts below that of all the people who are impacted.
So we're collecting too will be collected anonymously if you would like it to be. They'll all be just aggregated. We're really using it to help identify the patterns, so that way we can start putting out statements like alongside Cinema United and WGA, and that's kind of that's exactly it. Is we want to be a mouthpiece to help this field.
So what is the hope that we can actually impact this? I mean, we live in this world right now. I think all of us feel very hopeless in a lot of ways about what's happening in the world and what's happening in the industry, and it certainly doesn't feel like the Trump administration is asking what are the folks at Sundance thinking about all this. What is the hope that the independent film community within these kind of dark times can actually make an impact and move the needle here?
I think we have a lot more power, per usual, than we think we do. On a national level, this is a long game, right? We're headed into 2026. It's the midterm. So on a short-term level, what you can do is go home and look up your representatives and find out which ones seem more favorable or interested in supporting independent film, and get out there and help support them. And if none of them feel that way, then reach out to them and inform your local representatives what's going on. And that's sort of like in the midterms, right? We're entering 2027, 2028. It's a lame duck presidency, we hope. So there's that aspect. So things will start to change. But really on a national level, yes, mergers are, full steam ahead right now. The DOJ is, disregarding international law. So that's kind of challenging. But it's a long game. On the other level, though, that I see a lot of success is on the state level. So we have things like state attorneys general. They can come together across multiple states and sue. You've seen that happen in healthcare. There's a lot of opportunities there. Certainly in California, we were part of a group with many other people that advocated for a carve-out in the new film tax incentives, so that there would be a carve-out for independent film. that can and has been happening in many other states. Certainly in Colorado, the home of Sundance going forward. Yes, Sundance came to Colorado, and part of that was to get a tax incentive from the state of Colorado. But a bonus of that Sundance was able to influence along with the others was to get an additional carve out for the other film festivals in Colorado. So these are all things that are replicable. You can look at the state of Illinois, there's a number of things going on there. And so part of the additional work that FFC is doing is pulling all of those other opportunities together, those state opportunities, local, regionals, policy interventions that we can facilitate ourselves and push on, but also communicate out to all of you so you can have a checklist of like, how can you actually influence what's going on? And as we all know, the more that you influence locally, the more it changes globally. And so I think that really is what we're focused on, is activating all of you. And yes, is it a whole nother job that you have to do on top of what you're already doing? Yeah, but like, hello, the universe.
We want to make it easy for you to engage. We've been helping people file FCC comments, and in that process, it is like there have been so many barriers to just engaging in civic processes, which is just alarming. And a lot of people don't want to because they're afraid to, but then it's like, okay, so we will be working to help remove those barriers and make that accessible. So allow us to help provide these access points for you. And our goal is to get the types of things that can make it easier for you to do your business in this industry. Because we know how hard, I've seen how hard it is to get, and it's ridiculous that you have to raise so much money in marketing dollars, maybe more than it costs to make a film. So why don't we have subsidy carve-outs that are coming through digital revenue taxes and digital advertising taxes and other types of mechanisms? So we will be doing that type of research to kind of test out these different things. What can be done locally? What can be done at a state level? What can be done here? So allow us to do some tinkering and report back. But you can follow us on Substack. It's Future Film.
FutureFilmCoalition.org.
I was going to say Future Film Festival. That's
FutureFilmCoalition.org,
and also help us spread the word about BlockTheMerger.com. We just launched it today, so you're the first to hear about it.
Yeah, we are regrettably out of time, but I just want to say I think it's really important on this opening day of the festival that this issue is front and center, because going to talk about lots of issues over this weekend, and you're going to hear about lots, and there's certainly no shortage of things that Hollywood could and should be doing better and needs to work on. But this is the big one, and if in this year, if consolidation really strikes, then we may not have an industry to improve and advocate for a year from now. So everybody, grab these cards around here and get involved. Thank you to my.
Thank you. I just want to say one more thing, which is truly it boils down to go to blockthemerger.com, sign up, and when we say merger, it's not just Netflix, Warner Brothers. It's any merger. There are mergers in production companies, etc. So just blockthemerger.com, give us your information, and we will work with you to make the world a better place.
More is coming.
Much more.
I know, they can coat hook us off. Yeah.
I like it. Thank you. Please leave your microphones on those chairs, because we're gonna have another great panel. And yes, I know someone. Woo-hoo! Someone once told me, you may not want to have anything to do with politics or policy, but politics and policy would like to have something to do with you. And so we always want to make sure that whatever this is, whether it's tax credits, policy, et cetera, that you are becoming active.